everyone, welcome back to Made by Faith. This is my YouTube channel that I have actually posted little videos on, but I'm feeling the Lord calling me back into it for the last couple of years, so I'm just gonna go for it. And I've been praying about it, and my sweet friends decided to help me, and I really felt the Lord calling me to this video. My last one was about getting injured and like how I came back and a little bit of that story. And these two wonderful people also are going through an injury and have gone through this process. So I thought it would be cool to make a little video of how do you get through an injury at the collegiate level? How do you still stay motivated? Like how do you even get through that season of your life? Because I know for me, I struggled and I didn't really have anyone to help me through it. And so, yeah, we're just going to jump into it. This is Brooke Mays. Just say like a little bit of your, like what you do here, what's your major, what your position is. And yeah, that's
my
probably
injury
good.
as well.
Yeah, sure. Say your injury.
Okay, I'm Brooke Mays. I'm a sophomore here. I play middle infield. We play softball. And I'm an elementary education major, and I have a herniated disc in my back.
So fun.
Super fun. I love it.
Good stuff. Okay, and then this is Taylor, my little roommate, and she is going to introduce herself as well.
My name is Taylor. I am a political science, criminal justice major, play softball with these two people. I had a partial tear in my rotator cuff and my labrum, and so I just recently got surgery in July, so we're on the recovery from that.
Yeah. Also, apologize for the dorm room. We have nowhere else to film, and so dorm life is a life. I'm not going to say the best life, because it's really not, but...
I think I take that to heart, actually.
Okay, I really love rooming with you. I don't love how we live in a little cracker box and can't make our own food.
I like the
But
color.
it's our cracker box.
I love the dorm life.
I love that the ceiling is the same color as the wall.
As the
And the
cabinet.
popcorn
And the
ceiling
cabinet.
falls on us every night.
Yeah, specifically that.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys talked about a little bit of your injury. Just talk about how long you've been hurt and what the process been look like, because I know for both of you it's been a long journey. And then you can talk about when you're getting surgery.
Okay, so I got injured August of 2022, but I was able to play still, and then in March, my pain got really bad, and I've been playing since March of this year. Through a long, long journey, I finally have surgery in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you went through the whole PT journey for
Yeah.
months and months.
Months.
Actually made it worse, right?
Yep, made it worse, got 2 steroid injections. That made it worse.
Yeah.
Finally saw a neurosurgeon, and they're like, you can get surgery now.
Yeah.
So now we have surgery in 2 days.
Thank the Lord.
Yes.
Over finals week, which is a
Over
brave
finals
soul.
week.
But
That's
it's
awesome.
okay.
It's okay.
Go
Teachers
to a
have been
Christian
cool.
school
Yeah.
where the professors
They care
are
for
like,
you.
Yes.
They'll pray for you through it.
Yeah, they'll pray for your surgery. And then you, Taylor.
I would say that my injury started freshman year, and it was like manageable, kind of. Played through it all freshman year, tried to do PT through freshman year, got to sophomore year.
Well, freshman year you also got a shot. The
yeah, I
steroid
did do a
shot.
steroid shot.
And it kind of like numbed the pain. Because we
Well,
both did that freshman year.
Yeah, it was like it was like a little band-aid on the issue,
Yeah.
more so than actually fixing the
Just so
issue.
you could get through season.
Yeah, basically. And so then got through like all PT through the year, and then sophomore year came up, started throwing again. Terrible pain, couldn't lift up my arm, couldn't do any of that. Went and got MRIs and stuff like that, trying to figure out. They're like, oh, you should do PT for a while and see if it just fixes it. It never fixed it. They're like, you should get surgery. And then my insurance had a different idea. They're like, actually, you shouldn't get surgery because I'm a doctor and I know what it is.
Well, your insurance. Okay, sorry. This is a funny. It's not funny, but looking back, it's like, dang.
Hindsight.
Her
funny.
insurance said you can't do PT. It's not helping.
Yeah.
And then her PT was like, okay, then we need to do surgery. And then they're like, oh no, you can't do surgery. It's not necessary. She's like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, sorry. You're not allowed to do PT anymore because you're not making progress. But the reason why I'm not making progress is
You need
because I
surgery.
actually needed surgery. But they're like, no, we're not going to cover that. So it was like a long, drawn out process of trying to get them to cover it. And my doctor's like, no, like, this is the next step. Like, there's nothing else we can do for you except for go in and check it out. So, yeah, waited all summer. Finally was able to get it in at the end of July, so right before I came back to school. And, yeah, here we are now.
Yeah, and you're now able to swing a little bit.
Yeah, working on that.
Yeah, and then you can throw a tennis ball.
I can't. Hey, I actually
You can throw a real
softball,
ball. Yes.
just not very well. Just
Yes.
like
Still hurts,
moving it
but
a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So we're on the uphill.
Just a little bit.
Little wrist flex, actually.
I can throw.
Third to first, it like just drops.
Third to first, just.
Yeah. So obviously it's been a long drawn out process for both of you, and both of y'all really haven't played. Like, you really didn't play at all because you got hurt in the fall of your freshman year. You got hurt in your freshman year, but you just paid through it. But you've never really played here without pain. So how do you stay sorry?
It's so sad.
I really haven't played at all
No.
since being here.
It's okay, guys. It's okay. So it would make you feel better. Freshman year, I was in pain. Couldn't really play. Last year, I didn't play. But here we are.
Okay, so it's
kind of like, how do you stay motivated to keep working even when you can't play? Like, how do you stay motivated in the season of your life?
That's a great question.
And like an example, but you guys do it. So I know it may feel like you don't, but for an example, like both of you guys go to the weight room and work out every day that we have weights, even though you can't do a lot of the exercises. Like, you keep showing up, you keep working hard, and there's like other people that would just not go because coach gives you like the option of like, you can go and you can be working on the things you can work on, but ultimately, like, you're not going to play for a couple more months or whatever it may be, so you don't really need to show up. And I know, like, he gave me the same option, and like for practice, like, you really don't have to show up. Just go to do PT at that time, so you don't have to do it and figure it out in your day, which makes your day hectic. And you guys still show up to practice every day, and you still give your best attitude, and it may not feel like you're motivated, but you're still showing up. So like, how do you show up in this season of your life?
I think for me personally, in the weight room, I like to show up there because granted I enjoy lifting, but that's the one place that I can participate, and so that's why I feel like included. And granted, I lift by myself because I can't do a lot of the stuff that you guys do, but that's the one place that I can like actually feel like I'm a part of the team and I can actually do what you guys are doing, and like that's where I can give all of my effort so that when I do after surgery, I'm already closer to recovery because my body's healthy and it's already had that muscle, if that makes sense. So I think that's where, in the weight room at least, that's where I get to participate. And so I just utilize that as much as I can, I think.
It's almost like you're showing up to get, like, not lose any strength when you come back. That's kind of like where I was at. Like, all I could do was arms. But at least I was still going to be strong when I come back, and then only have to work on one thing rather than a million things.
Exactly. And you get so tired of just sitting there and just watching everyone else do it. So it's like, oh, I can lift a little bit. Count me in, for sure.
So it's like just doing the little things that you can do
for sure
to make you feel like a part of the team. Because I know for people that were injured before I was, like, my freshman year, the problem was I don't feel involved with the team. I feel like I'm just here, like all these things. So what could help ease that and making you still feel a part of the team during your injury is showing up for the little things and doing as much as you possibly can, even if you can't do the whole extent. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Do you have anything to add, or is it kind of like the same thing?
Yeah, I think doing the little things is really important, and just making sure that it's hard because, like, when you're injured, you're not, like, directly with the team. Like, so that definitely is hard, like, if you feel like you're kind of missing out on certain things, but, like, just putting in the effort to still do all the little things and to be with the team as much as you can, like, that definitely helps. And then also just, like, doing everything you can so that when you come back, you can still be the best you're possible, like, you're able to be at that point. So, like, for me, like, I just want to play, right? So I'm trying to do everything I can so that when I'm actually cleared, like, I'm going to be ready to just, like, jump and go. And, like, I think that setting goals is a good thing. Setting realistic goals is important, because you don't want to set them too high to where it's like, it's like unrealistic. Like, oh, I'm gonna throw in December when I just got surgery. Like, that's not realistic. But like setting reasonable goals and like working hard to meet those goals, I think is important.
Yeah, like having a conversation with your surgeon and your PT and be like, okay, so what's your timeline? And is there anything I can do to move that timeline up, or is that like set in stone? Like, how do I reach that?
Yeah.
And if I work this amount of days and work this hard, am I going to be able to actually reach those goals? And if the answer is yes, then like you need to like continue that and just have that in your mindset of like, okay, this is my timeline, this is my goal. If I work hard every day, just like chip off every day, because it's easy to be like, oh my gosh, that's so far in advance, like I don't need to worry about it, or I'm never gonna actually reach that. But if you just think about right now in this moment, in this day, what can I do to be better when it comes to X amount of time when I'm actually able to be cleared?
Yeah, and I think that just like thinking of it like you were saying, like every single moment, like it's not about like getting overwhelmed by how far away it is, or getting overwhelmed of like, oh, like actually I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to be the same as I was before surgery, because I mean those thoughts have definitely like come through my mind, but it's like just taking it like day by day and making sure that like I'm being extremely intentional in every aspect to prepare myself, and at the end of the day, as long as I'm doing what I can, then like that's all you can really do.
Yeah. And this kind of flows into another question somewhere in here maybe, but it's like, it's so easy to not have joy in this season. It's so easy to be so negative and discouraged and all these things. But if you really do look at the moment to moment and victory by victory, you can have joy. Like I know for me, when I got off crutches, I was so ecstatic. I was like, I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this day. And then when I got to take off my knee brace, like it was so exciting, like just little by little. And like for you get to have surgery. Like a lot of people are probably upset about that, but you're having a different perspective. It's getting me back sooner. So I'm gonna have joy in this season that the Lord actually allowed me to finally get surgery, and you're declaring that it's gonna work and all these things. So it's so easy to be negative, but to find the little moments of joy, like we were talking about, little victory by little victory, to get you to that big point. If you celebrate those, it's gonna make it so much more fun and easier. I don't know, anything to add?
I think for me, the biggest blessing that has come from this is being able to be injured with Taylor. I think it would have been so much harder if I was alone during that. And I mean, I was even injured with you the last season a little bit when you could play a little bit. Like we would sit at the backstop together, and I think having a person is huge. But I do understand like that's not every scenario, and that was just a huge blessing like from God. Like I mean, we've grown in our friendship from it, but also just being able to hang out and to sit together. You know, you're not by yourself.
Someone to
That's
go
been
through.
huge. But it is hard, and some days are definitely harder than others. It's not easy, but the little things, you just have to focus on the little things, and also letting it be okay that some days suck. Just straight up, you just gotta let that be okay.
Yeah, like it's not always gonna be amazing, and you're not always gonna be happy. Like I know there's days where I would be so excited during game day and so happy, and then I would come home to my dorm room and cry myself to sleep, because it was just like, it was so hard. But again, like we had people, and so that's kind of like why I wanted to film this video, is for those that don't have those people, and how do you get through that season and come out of it and be like, I'm actually thankful for this season of my life, because it taught me how to be obedient. It taught me how to like look towards the joy in everything, and God taught me so much in this season. How do you come out of that and be happy that you got injured? You know, like what does that look like? And so that's kind of why I'm doing this too. But yeah, it is a lot easier to go through it with friends and teammates and those that are thinking the same way you are, and not bringing either one down in negativity, but rather like building each other up. That's cool. Anything to add, T?
I'd say a big part of like staying joyful and stuff for me is always just pouring into others. Like I can't do everything that like I'm able to do, and like that, like it sucks. Like there's days like I just get really down about it, because like the one thing I want to do, like I just can't. I'm physically unable to do. So like when I'm just trying to do all the little things and stuff like that, that's good. But like I feel like pouring into others has just been like a really big part of this for me. Like I sometimes like can't be joyful on my own, like because like when you're, I don't know, when you're by yourself, sometimes it just like hits you like, wow, I sat there for 2 hours and did nothing. Like, that sucks. But when you're there, like, and you can just, like, be joyful around other people and, like, try and, like, hype them up and, like, just pour into others through that and, like, be there for other people, I think that when you take it off of yourself and push it on to others and you're like, okay, like, how can I help you? Like, how can I be there for you? Like, it, in a way, it, like, helps you deal with your own thing.
This is really good, T. You keep flowing into other questions. So here we go.
That's crazy.
Yeah. My next one was, how do you keep showing up for your teammates, and how are you able to be a better servant leader in this time when it's so easy to think about yourself and try and not show up for them, like going to practice or whatever it may be, but like you were saying, how do you keep pouring into other people? And for you, it's like, because you got joy out of it, like that's what helped you get through it. But sometimes that's not always the case. So how do you continue to be a servant leader when they're also probably not showing it back to you? It feels like you're just constantly pouring out and you're not getting anything. You're not receiving anything. So how do you keep doing that?
I think for me, that's almost my way. It sounds really bad, but it's almost my way of coping. Is I don't like my emotions, and so it's easy. So it's easier to like not think about myself and like think about how much this sucks and let myself get into that dark place when it is super easy, but to like focus on others and like focus on like maybe the outfielders because I'm an outfielder, or like how I can help with hitting, or like just different things like that, instead of just like sitting there and wallowing in my feelings, which is really easy to do, and it is good to understand your feelings, but also just like pouring into others makes you think about them and not how sucky your situation is right now. So yeah.
That's good. If you have anything to add, I know you kind of already touched on it, but
I mean, I think for me, my goal, like, whether I'm injured or not, like, I don't know, I want others to be able to see Jesus no matter the circumstances. So even in like a situation like this, if I can show up every single day and be joyful, and at least one person is like, oh, that's different, you know, like, that's a little weird. How is she like so happy when she literally can't do anything? Like, I don't know. I think that was like one of my big focuses, especially like as our team grows and as like we get new people that I don't know as well and stuff like that. Like, I just want to like show them a side of like, hey, like, you can still be joyful in every circumstance. And like, that's not to say that it's not hard, because like it is, and there's days that I just don't feel any joy, like and I think that it's okay to like understand that, and to understand that like you still have community and you still have like stuff like that that can fill you in other ways. Like, I think that on the aspect of like not getting it back in return, like I get filled in other ways. Like I get filled through prayer, and I get filled through reading God's word, and like being around like you guys, like my friends and stuff, like people who are just consistently in the word and who can like help me and like guide me in this. Like I don't know, I think that it's okay to not always get it back, because God will fill you in other ways. And so I don't know,
and that's kind of like how he created it to be. He wants us to go to him. He wants us to pray, to read our word. It's a living and active like word that will refill you, and you have the community. He's given you good friends in your life to fill you up in his spirit, right? Because his spirit's ultimately the only thing that can fill us, and we do that in a way to go to other people and to love them and to let ours overflow to them. That's like the agape love, where you go to people loving them just from an overflow of you, and not the eros love where you go to people in an emptiness and you want that in return. It's like, I love you because of who you are, and I'm gonna serve you, and I'm probably not going to get in return, but that's okay, because I'm coming from a place of overfill, and I don't need you to fill me. I just want to like love you and fill you, and that's like really hard while you're hurt, and not even, that's hard if you're just a teammate, right? Because you're just trying to like, you want to play as well, you want to do good, but if you're loving the person next to you, sometimes it's not easy. And then when they took your position because you're hurt, it's like that's even harder to still continue to love them and show up every day. But I mean, that's what Jesus is, right? He's a servant leader. He didn't expect anything in return. Rather, his friends like even betrayed him at one point. And so he knows more than anyone the emptiness that it feels to have like something taken away from you. And so yeah, it's just really cool to like look towards that and be like, I'm gonna serve you and I'm gonna love you just because, not because I need anything in return. That was a little bit of a rant, but last one. So what has like God taught you? I know it's probably a lot, or I don't know, but just pick something that you feel the Lord has taught you through this season of your life.
I think for me, he's taught me two things. One, enjoy the little things and be thankful for the little things. One thing that I do when I'm like super down or discouraged, I'll just stop and say like 5 or 10 things that I'm thankful for just in that day. And I think that really helps change my mindset and like focus my eyes on him, and like just remembering that like this sucks so much, but there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Like he didn't just get me injured to laugh at me. Like I'm injured for a reason, and just not necessarily like trying to find what that reason is, but just trying to be like the best version of me that I can be. And just like I think like we haven't really talked about it, but like this is my first year on leadership council, and I think trying to like step into that, like I don't think that I'm obviously not on it because of my injury, but I think I was able, once I was injured, I was able to step into the role of a servant leader so much more once I was injured. And so I think trying to figure out like my role in that and just how to be like the best servant leader, because everything I do on the field isn't for myself per se, because I can't play, so it's not for me getting more reps or anything. It's to help my teammates, and so just trying to find like the best way to like love them through Christ.
That's really cool. That's hard.
Some days are harder than others. Yeah.
Well, I like even was gonna talk about that a little bit, of how you had that role this year, not even playing. Like that is craziness, but that's just goes to show how you just pour into others and not expect anything in return, and you truly just want to like love on your teammates and let them shine, and you're in the background just doing all the little things. It's like, dang, bro, you did this, this, and this, and this, but no one saw any of that today at practice. And so we really are grateful for you in that aspect, even if you don't get all the credit all the time.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
T, do you have anything?
Yeah, I would just say that I think that he's really working on just my trusting of him, like just like really making sure that I am like fully committed, basically. So like through like, it's so annoying because every time I read the Bible, it seems like every single time I read it, he's just like reminding me of his faithfulness. And it's like just very convicting, because I don't know, sometimes you're in an injury for so long that like it just doesn't, it's like, okay, but like when is it gonna end, kind of thing. And every single time I sit down and I just read and I pray, it just seems like he's just like reminding me, like, no, like look at what I've done. Like I show you this every single time. He's like, no, like I said I was gonna do this and I did. Like I told you I was gonna do this and I will. Like I don't know, I think that he's just really working on me, like just being patient and just like trusting in him wholeheartedly, and being able to step out in faith and not having that like, okay, like I believe you if I can see you kind of thing. You know, it's like, no, like I will trust in you even when I don't see how it's gonna work out. So just,
I
like,
mean, you know, that's kind of like my motto right now in this phase of life. Like, Lord, you call me to this season and now it's taken away. What the heck? Like that, it hurts. It's so hard to walk through, to be like, God, I trust you, even though this hasn't worked out the way I thought it was going to. But I know you're working something better, because I know you're here with me, and I know you want to see me grow in this area of the life. Like, you took it away for a reason, and it's ultimately for my good. You're gonna learn something, like I'm sure you already have, that's gonna help you in whatever phase of your life. And there might be someone else that comes along and they're like, Taylor, how did you get through this? Because I've been hurt all 4 years, or whatever it may be, you know, like for both of you. And so the Lord's been putting you through this really, really tough season, but it's to make you stronger. Like I heard once, like the Lord doesn't give you something if you can't handle it. Like he's putting you through this because he actually believes in you, and he believes that you can get through this season, you know? So last question, I swear. What is the one piece of advice you would give to someone that's currently going through an injury?
I think finding little things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing is finding anything that you can do that maybe it doesn't even bring you joy, but like find how to be a servant leader to others first, and also just like it's the little things, because when you are injured, you have to focus on those in order for your day to not be horrible and you to go into a dark season. And I think it is okay to validate your feelings and know that it does suck, but at the end of the day it doesn't accomplish a ton, and you need to find what brings you joy and really just capitalize on that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, just making sure that, like, you look to the positive side. Like, it's very, well, that's easy to say, but, like, just trying to flip your mindset in situations and stuff. And just, honestly, for me, like, pouring into others has been, like, such a blessing. Like, to just be able to, when you're hurt and the only thing you can do is serve, like, I don't know. That's just, like, I don't know. I feel like that's been such a blessing in a way of just like being able to only serve people, like I don't know, so just like pouring into others even when you don't feel you're like strong enough to get through like your injury or whatever. And having a good community, like being able to talk to someone is always good. And just like knowing that like you have people around you, but ultimately like relying on God, like using this time when like something you love is stripped away, like sometimes it's for the better because it's making you rely on him more and making you trust in him more. And so just like taking it to him and being like, hey, like this is hard, you know, like I'm struggling, like I just want you to feel me more, like how can I become closer to you in this time, you know. And ultimately that's what's gonna heal your heart from it. So
that's so good. Thank you guys again for coming and filming this video, even if you sort of didn't have a choice, because she doesn't want to.
She said
whatever. And so hopefully this helped anyone that's going through an injury or just wanted some encouragement through this season of your life, how to be a better servant, leader, whatever it may be. But anyways, bye y'all.